Hello everyone, welcome, my name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. Beef, Season 1, I think there's gonna be a Season 2 last I checked. 2023, Lee Sung-jin, aka Sonny Lee. This show follows a man named Daniel Cho. Struggling to make ends meet as a contractor, a bad day turns even worse when a woman named Amy Lau cuts him off in a parking lot and flips him off to boot. Thoroughly pissed, Danny barrels down the road after her in a high-speed chase. This chase, though, will prove to be much more, as their actions going forward will forever define the rest of their lives. Man, I gotta say, this was a damn fun miniseries. I am thoroughly impressed with this one. The showrunner Sonny Lee assembled some talented directors and he created a visually memorable series. Starting off with the memorable chase scene at the beginning, this was an incredibly well-edited sequence that hung on action very tightly. It features some wild stunt driving and some brilliant long takes. From then on, the series never really lets up with that visual style. From the use of those odd paintings that start the episodes, we are treated to some beautifully framed and lit shots and well choreographed set pieces that are simultaneously artfully constructed and hilarious. Then we get to the score and soundtrack, which are both excellent. The score is a minimal affair, and when it is used, it is primarily light percussion and some synths, I believe. It never intruded in on the show and created a unique atmosphere. But this show primarily centers itself on its playlist soundtrack. Let me tell you, this playlist is fucking banging. Fucking Tori Amos, the Smashing Pumpkins, Collective Soul, The Offspring, Bjork, all the alt-rock and alt-pop bangers that you could ask for. I'll get into this in more detail in a bit, but this show has the best use of hoobastank that I've ever seen or heard in a piece of media. Fucking baller. The writing in this show is amazing. What I love most about it is the escalation of the tone and the sharpness of the dialogue. Primarily a black comedy, the show emphasizes the funny at the start, and this series' deft sense of humor both through incredibly satirical and hilarious dialogue, as well as great physical comedy, is amazing. Then as things start to escalate in the story, the series becomes more serious while not sacrificing the humor. It introduces incredibly dark elements that help the themes have more weight. On top of all that, the pacing is tight. 10 half-hour episodes, and each episode is fucking relentless and how much it pushes the plot forward and develops these characters. But on to those characters, as we now have to examine what exactly this show is about. What I think this show is about correlates to something I mentioned earlier. Hoobastank. The song used in a particular scene was their smash hit, The Reason, and the lyrics to that song I think really sum up what this show is kind of about. Through blind hatred of each other, Danny and Amy seem to find the reason to want to change. But this change didn't really become positive. While their spite led them to improving their lives in certain areas, this improvement crumbles in a fucking cosmic display of karma. Both their lives turn to shit in an instant, and when it's their fault for their bad situations, even dating back to before the car incident, they refuse to accept it and blame each other. Ultimately though, I think the two realize that this blind hatred, all of which started in an inconsequential traffic incident where no one was hurt, was pointless. Lost in the woods, the two bonded over their trauma and realized that they were cool with each other. But karma is always paid back in the end, and Danny is shot for the mere crime of being in Amy's presence. In our final scene, with no one else in their lives, Amy and Danny lie in a hospital bed together, an almost sick form of a happy ending. These two spiteful cows finding solace in each other. In our lead roles, we have the great Steven Yeun as Danny and Ali Wong as Amy. Always charming in his roles and bringing so much personality to them, Yeun captures that everyman struggle really well. He portrays that sick level of desperation and spite brilliantly. Ali Wong in this plays the doting yet hollow wife really well. You can see in her face and mannerisms that she is always ready to just boil over, and is constantly tormented by her decisions. Her and Yun always steal every scene they are in when together, and their petty bickering was always entertaining to watch. Along with a supporting cast that included great performances by Joseph Lee, David Cho, Young Mazino, and more, these incredibly dynamic characters are given an amazing breath of life. Man, this series is a gem, I must say. Equal parts bitingly funny and darkly thoughtful, Season 1 of Beef is brought to life by a cast and crew with a clear vision. Visually memorable, sharply written, bangin' fucking soundtrack, and 2 lead performances by Young and Wong that carry the show. If you can still afford Netflix these days, definitely check this series out. Highly recommended. And I am feeling a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10 on this one. It might just be a 9.5 on rewatch. It's just good stuff. Catch you later, guys.